So one of the questions we'll be following this week is, what do the Steelers do with Chris Boswell? Recently signed to a $16.8 million contract after 3 outstanding seasons, and now he's forgotten how to kick, apparently. He has a confidence issue, and it reared its ugly head again yesterday. A missed field goal earlier in the game, and then a slip at the end, an extra point that clanged off the goalpost. It's just not the same Chris Boswell, and it's hard to explain why, because the kid has a lot of talent and a booming leg. But confidence is a big thing. In golf, they call it the yips. Does he have the yips, and what do you do if you're them? Let's go to Tom in Beachview. Hey, Tom, how are you?
I want to know if you think they should fire Tomlin. Because how many times this could happen? Seems like it's been happening a few years before this.
No, my answer would be no. I don't think they're going to do it. No, I think they won't do it. And yes, there will be major changes on the staff somewhere, but it won't be there. And again, as I said before, he's more of a delegator of what goes on. Is he responsible? Yes. There's a lot of blame. The clock management, once again yesterday, didn't make any sense to me. But I also look at the overall, and I know people don't like to do this. They don't look at the previous years, the resume, everything that's happened here, and I think they need to do that at times. Making no excuses, I'm just saying, it's a pretty impressive resume. Just as Mike McCarthy. Now, you'll say Mike McCarthy got fired, but here's the thing. Last year, he had to make changes to his staff. That was the first thing that had to go. And once that happened, this year was more of a bust than last year, and then he paid the price for this. I would dare say if this continues and it goes on, you know, they're wasting prime opportunities for Ben Roethlisberger's window, which is still open, and they have a very talented team, at least on paper, offensively. Defensively, they have some work to do. There's no question. I think defensively it's a schematic thing, and it's also a personnel thing. I don't know that they have enough people who are capable to cover people in the pass game, whether that's tight ends, wide receivers, whatever. And if you're not capable, that then messes with your schematics of how you employ these guys. So I think it's a multifaceted thing. Let's go out to Pete in Squirrel Hill. Hey, Pete, how you doing?
Hey, Bob, how are you tonight? I hope
good.
You feel better soon.
Thank you, sir.
Real quick about the Steelers situation, Bob, in a nutshell. Tomlin's taking an awful lot of heat, Bob. People calling you, how many times should you be fired in this and
This
that.
has gone on, though, for the last
today.
how many years? This is not new. It goes on every year.
Yeah, here's the thing, Bob. In the NFL football, the coach is not the leader. The coach is the leader in football, in high school, and college. In the NFL, leadership comes from the locker room. When you're supposed leader of your team, your quarterback is calling out his teammates, like Roethlisberger did after the Denver game, his wide receivers for running the wrong routes. The leadership then is in question because a great leader, Bob, doesn't do that. I'd just like to see what you think about that. Thank you.
I don't necessarily have a problem with him doing that if it's constructively done. I really don't. He has a radio show. He's been brutally honest on that show, which is why I'm going to be interested to hear what he has to say tomorrow. But no, I don't have a problem necessarily with that. It's how those guys handle that. You mentioned leadership in a locker room, though. I have to wonder if, who's going to step up in this situation as leaders. They have a lot of guys who I look at as leaders, but you have to hold each other accountable. Coach can only hold how many guys were accountable. I mean, yeah, they do that as head coaches, but all the teams that I've talked to, players that I know who've gone through winning championship seasons, will tell you that players hold players accountable in good locker rooms. I'll be interested to see what that goes on. Let's go out to Mike in Altoona. Hi, Mike. How you doing?
Good, Bob. Hey, one thing first is why would you save Ben Roethlisberger for a game that might not matter? But secondly, this
they all matter.
No, that's what I mean. If you didn't win this game,
yeah, I mean, to me, you can't afford to lose this game, and if he's cleared to play, then I would play him. I just don't understand that. Now, if they come out and say he was cleared, but he couldn't breathe and whatever, I didn't hear it. All I know is that he was. Okay. What else?
But this team shows up for 4 quarters every game. Unfortunately, the offense only shows up for 2 quarters, and the defense only shows up for 2. What do you think?
Well, I mean, 14 points until the final 5 minutes against Oakland. I'm sorry. I expected a lot more. And yesterday, if that game had been in hand, they're up by 20-some points, I totally understand not playing Roethlisberger after he took that hit. But it wasn't the case. And Derek Carr is 2 years removed from being an MVP candidate in this league. He can do that. In his last 8 games, 11 touchdowns, no interceptions. He's operating at a Pro Bowl level right now. We'll be right back.